Good morning, friends. We are learning our subject Python for Data Science 3150713. In that, we are learning module 1, that is overview of Python and data structure. In previous lecture, we have seen the exception. What is exception? Is you can say runtime errors, though the syntax is correct, isn't it? So we have seen few examples. Now we want to see the exception hierarchy. So what it is? Let us see base exception. In that we can say system exit, keyboard interrupt, generator exit, exception, stop iteration, stop async iteration, arithmetic error, floating point error, overflow error, zero division error, SSN error, attribute error, buffer error, EOF error, import error, module not found error, lookup error, index error, key error, right? So file exists error, file not found error, many such errors are there in the exceptions, right? You can see just now I'm not speaking in detail about all these things because you can see all the things when you work with, right? So these are the exception hierarchy and in the way they are there, right? In the way they are there, we know that whatever is a superclass that must be handled at the end. Otherwise, it will give you error, right? Because whatever is the superclass or general class, there all the exceptions will be eat up, right? Of their subclasses. Okay, so what should we do is whatever is the superclass that we should write at the end. Okay. So these are the references which you can use for the concepts which we have already seen. Right. Okay. So now we want to know about object-oriented programming using Python. In the same module, that is, we can say overview of Python and data structure. In the syllabus, if you see, you will not find anything like object-oriented programming using Python, but I feel it is needed to understand how we are having the object-oriented programming, that is classes, methods, and the concepts of object-oriented programming, as well as we can say that the modules, they are required to understand this particular subject and use this subject. That is why you may consider it as the curriculum gap of our subject, but this is what is required. So we should know that. So recall functions, whatever functions we know, now in that we want to add, right? So in that we want to know call by value and call by reference, first of all. So let us see, Python utilizes a system which is known as call by object reference or call by assignment. Objects of built-in types like integer, float, bool, str, tuple, Unicode are immutable. Objects of built-in types like list, set, dig are mutable. Custom classes are generally mutable. If you pass arguments of immutable objects, the passing is like call by value, because one cannot change the value of the immutable objects being passed to the function, Whereas passing mutable objects can be considered as call by reference because when their values are changed inside the function, they will also be reflected outside the function. So we want to know the object-oriented programming characteristics. Class, a blueprint of something. Object, that is instance of class. Access specified. Public, private, protected. Abstraction, that is hiding details at hardware level. Encapsulation, hiding data from being accessed or accessed with specific mode only. Inheritance, extending the properties of a class. Polymorphism, polymorphism is the ability to leverage the same interface for different underlying forms such as data types or classes. Polymorphism allows for flexibility and loose coupling so that code can be extended and easily maintained over time. This will take us how to apply the polymorphism to classes in Python. Class is itself an object of type. Okay. So what we say? Class definition creates an object. Class methods have type method underscore descriptor. Operations for class create instance of a class. That is, we can say, suppose text tx that is equal to calculator and two parentheses, where calculator is the name of class, right? Dot is used to access attributes and methods. Constructor is defined as def underscore underscore init underscore underscore self value. Destructor is defined as def underscore underscore del underscore underscore self. Self is required in each method of the class irrespective of constructor and destructor. Self represents the current object. Class data without underscore is public. Class data without any underscore is public. To make an instance variable protected, add a prefix single underscore to it. This effectively prevents it to be accessed unless it is from within a class. To make an instance variable private is to add a prefix underscore underscore, that is double underscore, to it. That is, if you want to make any data public, do not put any underscore with that variable. If you put one underscore, that is protected. If you put two underscore, that is private. Okay. The members of a class which are declared private are accessible within the class only. Private access modifier is the most secure access modifier. That is known to you, isn't it? Okay, so this was the hierarchy what we have seen. Let us start with the other file, right? So now we have talked of the call by value and call by reference, but before that I would like you to see the ternary operator like effect in Python. Okay, these are some special examples which I could find in the certifications courses what I have done, right? So in that, in C, Java-like language result. That is what? Result is equal to binary condition, question mark. Value return if true. Value return if false. Right? Value return if true and value return if false. Okay. So now what is the case? X is equal to 5, Y is equal to 7, small is equal to X if X is less than Y, else Y. Okay. Print small. If we want to have the ternary effect, the way we used to write is, say, some condition, or we used to say like 3 is greater than 4, this question mark, some value, right? Typically we used to say, yeah, here X should be there. Then here we used to say something like this, and then after say colon, anything like this, right? This is that, right? So this is the ternary condition in C or Java language, right? Not here, right? In C or Java language, right? Okay, so if we want to get the same thing here, we can have it as small is equal to, say, X. If X is less than Y, else Y, right? So take care of that. And if you run this, we get it as 5. Why 5? Because 5 is less than 7. So that will be there in X. Okay. Call by value and call by reference. Okay, we have just talked of all these things. Let us see the example here so we can have the idea. Def, my fun, name and role. Function is there, very simple function where we are having two parameters, print, name, colon, role. Then after I am changing, name is equal to Amit, right? Okay, now I am calling the function that is my fun, name is equal to Amit, role is equal to mentor. Fine. Now, def main. It is not the main function like the way we are having in our C or Java language. This is just a function whose name is main. Okay. Inside that we are having name is equal to Ayush. My fun, name, role is equal to teacher, print name. My fun, Prithvi, comma, Raja. Okay. This is the function wherein what we are having it. First of all, we have set some name. Then after we are passing this name to the myFun function. Then after coming back, we are printing the name. Then after we are calling the function with other name, right? Now what we do is, this was in the main function. After that, myFun, we are calling the myFun function, passing the parameter name is equal to Abhay, role is equal to businessman, right? And after that, we are calling the function that is main. See, what is the case in this? We are having two functions, myFun and main, right? Two functions are there. Main is not like the way we are having it in Java and C, but it is only a function, right? What we want to check is that we are having name is equal to something, right? We are having name is equal to something in the function, and we are having something as the name which is being passed to it. Okay, so what will be the value when we are calling the function as well as when we are printing it, right? That's what we would like to see. Now, let us see what happens. First of all, this definition is there. After that, what is that? myFun, this is the function called to it, right? Let us see sequentially. We can say here is the first function called to myFun function. There we are passing name is equal to Ami and role is equal to mentor. So we are calling this function by passing this value, that is AMI, right? So what should be the case here? AMI and mentor is passed here. When we are printing it, it should be printing AMI and mentor, isn't it? After that, we have changed the name to Amit. Does it have any effect? No. Okay, so go to ahead. Now we are having the function main, but it is a definition, right? So it is not going to call anything just now. Unless this function itself is being called, the code inside it will not be executed, isn't it? Okay, so let us go ahead. Let us come to this, that is my fun. Name is equal to Abhay and role is equal to businessman. Now, this is being passed where? Here. Here? No, it is to this function. Here is Abhay and here is businessman. So that will be printed. Then after we are doing name is equal to Amit. Does it have any effect? No. But print is already done. So this does not have any effect inside this function. Okay. So we can say first is Ami mentor. Second is Abhay businessman. Right. Now after that, what comes? This is being executed. Now it will go to main. It will call the function main. Now inside that, it is written name is equal to Ayushi and role is equal to teacher, right? So this function will be called, right? This function will be called now with the parameter that is Ayushi and teacher. So it will print that, okay? The name is being changed, but okay, doesn't matter, right? Because the print is already there. So we are able to see it as Ayushi and teacher, fine? Now, after this, we are having print name. So it will be printing what? What should it print? It should print only Ayushi, right? Or something else. Should it print Amit? Let us run and see. Does it print Amit, which was set inside this particular function? No, it will not be done. Why? Because its scope is only inside this particular function. Okay. So what? After that, we are having my fun, Prithvi and Raja. Okay, so it is calling this function with the parameter that is Prithvi and Raja. So what it will print? Obviously, it will print Prithvi and Raja. Name is equal to Amit, but does it have any effect? No. If some more statements are there inside this function only, then we can see the effect. Otherwise, it does not have any effect. So here, we should be able to see this as the output. That is, you can say, mentor, businessman, teacher, Ayushi, Prithvi, Raja. Right? This is what we'll be able to see. Right? Okay. So now, call by value. That is for immutable objects. Okay. Here it was immutable objects. Typically, it is being said that the data types are the immutable objects, as we have seen, right? This one, built-in types. These are called the immutable types, right? And the list or set or dict, these are called the mutable types. Okay. Now, call by value for immutable objects. We want to call by value. Okay. So what we are doing is we are having the definition of function, that is def call by value. We are passing some parameter st. Now what we do is st plus equal to 5005. Print in function st. Now that function definition is over. Now we can consider the code like our main code. So s is equal to 1001. Print before call, that is s. Call by value s and print after call s. Okay, so what happens? Print call before call. What is s? That should be this one, right? Call by value s, that is this s we are passing. Now what happens? It comes here. So st will be 1001. We are doing st plus equal to 5005. So it will be added, and in the function we'll be having the value of st as 6006. So after that, what will be there? The s will be 1001 only, because the change is there only inside the function, and it's not getting reflected in the main code, right? So that is, we have passed the call by value immutable objects, right? Okay, we have then the call by value for immutable objects. Okay, very simple. Here we have passed the integer, here we have passed the string, right? Both the way we have tried, because they are said as immutable objects. Immutable, you can say how it can be immutable. Immutable, that means it will not be changed, isn't it? But what do we want to say is integer is say 5, then can't we change it as 6? No, here we are saying that when we are passing, it is only reflected inside the function. If we want to change that, we have to use it as global, right? Okay, so let us proceed further. Call by reference for mutable objects, that is list, right? Definition, call by reference LST. One list is being passed to it. Then for I in LST, print R. So we are iterating the list, whatever is being passed inside the function. After that, we want to append value 5 to it, right? We want to append value 5 to it. So this is there inside the function. Now, LST is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is now our main code, right? It is not part of the function definition. You can see that, and if you are having confusion, you can always put one enter, right? So you can have the idea that it is now different. See, with the indentation also you can understand that it is not part of the function. Okay, so LST is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fine. Print before calling LST. Call by reference LST. We are calling the function and passing our list where it is having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, what happens inside this list? What happens? The value is being appended. Value is being appended to the list, right? And after that, we want to print what is the value of that LST. Okay. So what should be that? We can run and see, isn't it? Before calling the function, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is fine. Then when we call the function, inside the function, it is having the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And after calling the function, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Ooh. LST was passed to the function. Inside that, we have appended one value, and that is being reflected here and said as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Now, call by reference. For mutable objects, that is dictionary. One thing we have seen, that is list, and other is the dictionary. Okay, so let us see that. Def call by reference DCT. For I in DCT, print I. DCT of new key is equal to new value. Print in function what is DCT. Now this function definition is over. Now we'll be having DCD, that is dictionary is equal to date. Inside that we are having 1, 2 and 3, 4. Right? So key is 1, value is 3. Value is 2 and key is 3, value is 4. Right? After that, print before calling DCD, call by reference, that is DCD, and print after calling DCD, right? So what's the case? Before calling it is 1 colon 2, 3 colon 4. In the function, we are printing the key, that is 1 and 3. In the function, we are having 1 colon 2, 3 colon 4 and new key colon new value. Fine? And after calling 1 colon 2, 3 colon 4, new key colon new value. Right? So for mutable objects, if you are passing them, it is considered as call by reference. Why? Because if you change their value inside the function, then too it is getting reflected in the object which was there in the main form. Fine. So call by reference for mutable objects. You can say we have already done. Yes, we have done that for list. We have done that for dictionary. Now we are looking at the set. Right? Same thing is that, same logic is that in this particular function we'll be having, say, iteration of the set variable. Then after we are modifying that set, and in the function we are printing that particular set. Okay, set is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Print before calling set, call by reference, and after calling set. Right, this is what we are doing. So before calling it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inside the function, we are iterating first, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then in the function we are printing, but before that we are adding 6. So we can see it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And after calling, it will be again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So that is what is the call by reference. Okay. So now we would like to see the object-oriented programming. Right? We already seen the concepts. That is where we can say that with the class name, that is class, and then after class name, we are writing the class. Okay, let us see. Right? The concepts we have seen for what public, private, protector, what things are that also is known to us, right? We already have the knowledge of how to write the class in C++ and Java, right? So we'll use concepts of that, but we have to write the syntax in Python. Okay, so how we can write that? Class, calculator, object, right? Something if we want to pass, we can write, right? Now def add self number 1 plus number 2. Self is being there for object oriented programming, or you can say typically the way we are using this dot something, for that we can say we are having self. Okay, so return number 1 plus number 2. Now we are making the object of this class. Is it the constructor? No. What is the constructor? Constructor is underscore underscore init underscore underscore, right? Self and value. When self is there inside the method parameter, it is considered as the what? The class method. And what actually you can use the class parameters with the help of self. Okay. Del is the destructor. That is underscore underscore del underscore underscore. 2 underscore before the name of the destructor and before the after the name of the destructor. So is it having same name as the class? No, it is not so. Init is the constructor and del is the destructor. Okay. Without any underscore, variable is public. With one underscore, it is protected. With two underscore, it is private, right? This is the way it works. So now, OB is equal to calculator. We are making the object of calculator class. Print OB dot add 64, right? 64. We are calling the method of this class, that is add method, and passing the parameter 64. You can see here self number 1 and number 2. Three parameters are there, then why are we passing only 2? See, self is considered as the class option, right? So we do not have to pass it, we just have to call the method with the parameters. Okay, so here we'll be writing it as 64, but here we'll be writing it as self number 1 and number 2. Okay, so what should be the output of it? That we can see in the Jupyter notebook. Okay, what is the case? OP dot add 6 and 4. So we can say number 1 and number 2, and here number 1 plus number 2. So 6 plus 4 will be 10. Okay. Now initializing class member in the method. Okay. So let us see class A. Any class A is there. Okay. A is equal to 100. A is equal to 100. Now def first self A comma B. Simple method is there. Okay. Self is required, as you know. Yeah, but self is not the keyword in the Python. Okay. It is not the keyword in the Python. Like you can say this. Typically we use it as. Okay. It can be anything, but typically people use it as self only, right? So self dot A is equal to A. Whatever parameter is being passed, that way it is initializing. Then print A, print B. We are making the object of class A, that is using R is equal to A. Whatever is the class name, with that we have to put two parentheses, but not something like this is equal to new and then class name. Okay, that is not that. R dot first 10, 20, right? Two parameters are being passed. Now let us say run. So what we can say is 10 and 20 we have passed to this parameter. So self A, B. So A is initialized as what? As 10, and B is initialized as 20, right? So that's what we'll be able to see as the output. Okay. Now if I do here print R dot A and R dot B, because that is the object of this class, and with that will we be able to access this? It says attribute error. A object has no attribute B. A object has no attribute B. Do we have any B? Yes, B is there, but it is only part of this particular function, right? It does have only this. Let me remove this. First of all, remove this B. So, because it is not part of our class, isn't it? Now, let us see the value, then I'll explain you one more thing. It says R dot A is 10. Here, it was A is equal to 100. But what? Self dot A is already defined. See, 100 maybe you have given. But now again you are defining it as self dot A is equal to A, right? So whatever is being passed here, that will be assigned here. If I don't write this, and A is equal to 100 here, so will it be fine? Let us check it out. A is 100, right? A is 100, okay? Right? So if you write it here, or if you are writing inside the function that has self dot A is equal to A, or whatever value you want to give, it will consider that value for this one. Okay. What about this? Here we have printed print A. So whatever is being passed, that will be there. Let me print self dot A here. Now what it will print me? Let's write this self. Okay, so you can have the idea. Right? First of all, we are printing A, then self dot A, and then after B inside the function. Okay, so you can see the difference. 10 is the value which is being passed, that is A, local. Self is self dot A, that is the value which is there inside the function, no, inside the class. Then print R dot A, that also is 100. Right? Got the point? Let us see the example of class where we are having two attributes, width and height, and depth. Calculate the volume of the box. Okay, we are having width and height and depth to calculate the volume of the box. Okay, now class box. Inside that, width is equal to 0, height is equal to 0, depth is equal to 0. Fine. Now, method is that depth, volume, self, width, height, depth. Self dot width is equal to width, self dot height is equal to height, self dot depth is equal to depth. And return width multiplied by height multiplied by depth. So for that, what we have done is very simple, is we are having one function wherein we have passed three parameters. We have assigned the values which are being passed to the class members. They are self dot width, self dot height, self dot depth. And then we are calculating the volume and returning back. Nothing more than that, right? Now here, width is equal to 0, height is equal to 0, depth is equal to 0. Are they returned with any underscore? No. So they are public variables of this class. Okay. What we are doing is we are making the object of class box. V is equal to R dot volume 10, 20, 30. And then after we are printing the volume V. So what should we get is 6,000, right? 10 into 20 into 30, that is 6,000. That is the volume of our box, right? Now we want to have string representation of the object. Box with two attributes, width and height, and depth, and calculate the volume, right? The same class is there. What I have added is string representation of the object. Otherwise, all the code is same. Class box, width, height, depth, that is initialized to 0. Depth, volume is there with the three parameters, and self, return, width underscore height underscore depth. Right? Simple. Now, for string representation of the object, we are having the special method, that is underscore underscore str underscore underscore. And we can say self, we are writing, you consider it as class method, right? So colon, then after you can say return str self dot width and self dot height, right? What we have done is we have converted that to str. Okay, the string value will be able to have. But how you can have its string representation? For that, you must be having the method available, that is underscore underscore str underscore underscore. Otherwise, it cannot have. Right? Return str self dot width plus self dot height plus self dot but depth. Right? Now we are making the object R is equal to box. V is equal to R dot volume 10, 20, 30. So print V. volume it will be printing. Then we can say print up. What is R? That is the object. And we are printing that. So what should it give us? It should give us the string representation of our object. Okay. So when you run this, what we are having, first of all, this will create the object of the class box. Then it will call the volume method and get the volume. So it will print the volume. Then after this, we'll print the string representation of our object. Fine. So this will print 6000 and the string representation is 10 colon 20 colon 30. Right. Special methods, the way we have seen underscore underscore init, underscore underscore del, underscore underscore str. Right. So special methods are that you can say class comparables. We want to compare two objects. So for that we can say class comparables. C is equal to 0 is defined. Okay. Now we are having the methods def underscore underscore eq underscore underscore. EQ is for equality, NE is for not equal, GT is for greater than, GE is for greater than equal, LE is for less than equal. Right? So for that, we have to write the definition of these methods. For that we can say, for EQ we are having return self.c is equal to other.c. These two are the objects. Right? Two objects are passed to this particular method and it is checking whether both the things are equal or not. Same way for any, whether they are not equal, for greater than it is greater, for less than it is less than, and for LA it is less than or equal. Fine. So this is what we are doing. V is equal to comparables, that is we are making the object of class comparables, then V dot C is equal to 3. V dot C is equal to 3. We are initializing this variable. Initializing? No. The initialization of this variable was already there, that was C is equal to 0. Now we are changing the value of it, that is V dot C is equal to 3. Now J, one more object we are making, that is comparables. J dot C is equal to 4. J dot C is equal to 4. So now we can say what? That is, we can say, again we are initializing the value of C, but now that is for object J, right? Now we have to pass two parameters, and how we can pass it as V is equal to J. We do not have to write it as V dot something or that way, but these are two objects, so we can directly pass it as right. I mean to say that V dot EQ we do not have to write, we just have to use the equal. That is a special method. Okay, so equal, that means equal, not equal is any, less than or equal, right, and greater than or equal. Fine. So these things are there. So if you do this, you will be getting the result according to the value what we are having. V is equal to J. 3 and 4 are not equal, so false. V is not equal to J. Yes, it is true. V is less than or equal to 4. It is false. And what about V is greater than or equal to J? It is true. Right? So that's what we are getting now. Now, special method, that is REPR, represent, right? Represent the method using the underscore str underscore or underscore REPR we can get string representation of the current option, right? Let us say that your class is class 3CU. For your class, you can say we are having the class name is class 3CU. Okay, now we are having the string defining that is string is equal to Buddhi to Tenali Ramani. Now we are having the method inside that is def underscore REPR self, and then we can say return object dot format. self.string. Okay, we want to just print this string. For that we are using it. If you want, you can have return and whatever is the object is there. Fine, self.string you can pass, no issue. But this is the way we can format it, right? For that we have to use this two braces, and then after you can be getting this value for it, right? Okay, so O is equal to class 3CO, we are making the object of the class, and then after print 2. So it will print the string representation of this object. Okay, so you can say you'll be able to see it as Buddhito Tenali Ramani. Okay, so now we want to know constructors are used to instantiate an object of a class. This is known to us, isn't it? They are used to initialize data members of the class. The init method is used as constructor in Python. It is always called when an object is created. Special methods. Underscore underscore init underscore underscore is a constructor. Underscore underscore str underscore underscore is string representation. Underscore underscore eq underscore underscore is a method to compare equality of two objects, right? This is already known to us. Fine. Let us see. Constructor we would like to see in this particular example. Okay. So class A. Now we are writing the constructor. So def underscore underscore init underscore underscore self. I is equal to 0 and j is equal to 0. What does that mean? By default, the values are given as I is equal to 0 and j is equal to 0. So if the values are not specified, then it will take the default value as 0, 0. Otherwise, whatever is being passed, that will be given to self.I and self.j. String representation, that is underscore underscore str underscore underscore self. What we do is string plus str self dot I and self dot j, that also is converted to str, right? Def eq, for that also 2 underscore before 2 underscore letter, self and other. We want to compare two objects. Return self dot I multiply by self dot j is equal to other dot I other dot j. Now for checking the equality, it is not always the case this one. This is the logic which is being used. See, the logic you can write yourself, whether you are checking it as equal only, or you are checking for multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, whatever. Logic is up to you. Fine, logic is up to you. Okay. Now we are having the definition main. Right, main method is that it is not the main method like C or Java. Okay, keep that thing in your mind. We are making the object of class A as x is equal to A43. Second object y is equal to A6, 2. So we have made the two objects of the class A. One is named as x and second is named as y. Now, print x is equal to y. So we are checking the equality of these two objects, and it will call the method that is underscore underscore eq underscore underscore. So there self dot I, this one, and self dot j, that is what you can say is 4 multiplied by 3 is 12, and the second one is other dot I other dot j, that is 6 multiplied by 2 is 12. So this is equal, isn't it? So if x is equal to y is being checked for this method, you can say it is equal, isn't it? So it will return true. Now if you want to check what is the module name. Now what is the module? Module, here we haven't written anything, right? We haven't written anything, but currently whatever is there, if nothing like module is defined, how to define the module, that we'll see. But if nothing like module definition is given in the program, we can say it is main module. It is not for this main method, it is main module. Okay, and how to check it out, that is if underscore underscore name underscore underscore is equal to underscore underscore main underscore underscore, right? Then what we are doing is, if the module name is main, then only call this method. It is not mandatory. This is just a logic. Okay, you may call any other method, right? But the thing is, what is the module name? That's what we want to check, right? What it will do is, it will call the main method because the module name is main, and so it is calling this main method. According to the way we have written our method. Okay. So now we want to have the constructor, which we have already seen. Now this is only having the constructor and one method, fine. But here we are having public variable, private variable, and protected variable. So for that, recall that without any underscore, that means public variable. With one underscore, it is protected, and with two underscore, it is private. Right? So that's what we have written. That is inside our what? Init. Right? That is inside our init. Okay. So is this inside this our init variable? No, sorry, init function. No, it is not there inside the init function. You can see that the definition start with this. So this is not the code which is inside this init, but we have returned it inside this class, right? If you want to put it inside this constructor, you can say you have to put them at this location, right? As this indentation. Then only it is part of the constructor. Okay, doesn't matter. We have written width is equal to 0, public, 1 underscore is protected, 2 underscore is private. Okay, def volume, one method is there wherein we are writing self dot width is equal to width, self dot height is equal to height, self dot depth is equal to depth, and return width into height into depth. This we have written before also, right? Now we are making the object of the class box. So it is printing inside constructor. Have we called this underscore underscore init method? No, we haven't called. It is understood that when the object of a class is created, then it will create the, it will call the constructor of the object. Okay. Now, underscore underscore add underscore underscore method is used to add to objects of a class. One more special method, right? Underscore underscore init underscore underscore, that is, you can say constructor. Del with underscore underscore before and after is the destructor. Then underscore underscore str underscore underscore is string representation of the object. Underscore underscore rep also is the representation. That is, see, do not forget to have two underscore before and after for special methods. Okay, so that is the string representation. EQ is for equality, N is for not equality, right? Those things you know. And one more thing is that is to add to objects. Okay. Now, we would like to have the add method. Okay, we want to add to objects. Let us say class table is there. Inside that we are having the constructor. The self and legs, right? Legs are the parameter to this constructor. Self dot legs is equal to legs, right? Okay, now def underscore underscore add underscore underscore self and other. Two objects are being passed to it. We want to do the addition of these two objects. So you can say return self dot legs plus other dot legs, right? Return this one. Okay. So what it will give us is, it will give us say s is equal to table. We are creating the object of this, that is 4. In string we have given. So in the return we are having the string concatenation, right? Addition of two string is concatenation, isn't it? So and for R we are having the object and we have passed 6. So when it returns, it gives us the 4:6. Fine. Add to lunchbox food items. Add method again. Say class lunchbox food items is equal to 5. Def underscore underscore add underscore underscore and two parameters are being passed to it. Return self dot food items plus other dot food items. Create two objects, that is y is equal to lunchbox, c is equal to lunchbox. Now print y plus c. What it will do? It will do the addition of food items and it will return that. Okay. That's all for today. From this, we'll see next time. Okay. So let me write it this way. Fine.